Looking to Jared Stearns, who makes the catch and scores. What a burst! Trayvon Henderson, as advertised, touchdown Buckeyes!
This is Chasing the Natty, a college fantasy football podcast. All right, welcome in everybody. This is Jared Palmgren, host of the Chasing the Natty podcast. Welcome to the second CFF Mock Draft live edition for 2022. Guesting with me today is none other than the Gridiron Scholar, Mr. John Laub. John, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing very good. I'm pretty fired up for this best ball. I think this is my 7th CFF draft this season already. I know you've done more than me. It's just been a very, very busy spring, but I'm feeling really good about, knowing the player pool, where the value is. So I feel good about that. And I just want to tell anyone viewing tonight, my dogs just had 5 puppies. They're 6 weeks old. So if you hear some whining in the background, they have huskies. So they're a little vocal at times, and they're in the room right next to us. So I apologize for that, everyone. But they're just exciting little puppies, happy to be alive.
No need to apologize for the cuteness that is 5 different baby puppy huskies. Gonna try that one never again. It's actually funny you mentioned that because I just started my first day on my new internship that I'm at, and we walked into one of the warehouses that they had, and there was just a cat laying in the corner, and it had 2 or 3 kittens just running around it. And I was just like, okay, cool. There's a cat with kittens in the office now. That's fun. So
nothing wrong.
No. Oh, and they were cute. The kittens were adorable. And they can like barely walk, so they're they're kind of walking around. They're like stumbling over their own feet. It's so cute. Anyway, again, pretty much same deal as last week. If you joined us last week, welcome back. And it's gonna be the same thing again. 20 rounds, best ball. Again, typically, I had one of the participants here ask me tonight, and he said, "Why do you call this a mock draft when it's the real deal?" I only make it a best ball, and I only make it the $5 entry because it just incentivizes you guys to show up and make sure that you're here. But even so, treat it like a mock. Make it practice for your leagues coming in this fall. For those of you who are watching, you can participate in your own way by leaving some comments in the chat. Help me and John talk about what you guys want us to talk about. Had great questions coming into the draft last week. The draft gets started here in about 6.5 minutes, so we got some time here beforehand. If you just want to ask us a quick question, we got plenty of time. But then as the draft goes along, we'll definitely try to address as many as we can in the chat as possible. Speaking of people in this participating tonight, quick happy birthday to Mr. Heath Boyd. He mentioned to me when he first signed up to this, he's like, yeah, this is going to be a birthday draft. So I'm like, shoot, happy birthday, Mr. Heath. He's got the 103, John.
Happy birthday.
So don't ruin his birthday by sniping his first pick there.
Yeah, he follows me. Good luck there, Heath.
Aaron Nyhart asks, he says, Lou Nichols 101, question mark? It's possible.
He went, remember, Jared, we did a best ball. Oh, you weren't in it. I did a best ball draft last week. It was best ball with CFF site, Mike Bainbridge and Joe. And Lou Nichols went 2nd overall, first running back off the board.
It was the mock draft I did immediately after that news, and he had, I believe that first mock afterwards, he went 101. And I don't think he's a bad 101 pick. Yeah, it's going to suck not having him those 2 weeks against Oklahoma State and Penn State, but he's going to more than make it up for you in the last 8 to 9 games of the season. As soon as he gets into action, he's golden.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then Ryan Ralph. Actually, it's funny that you asked this, Ryan, because me and John were actually talking about this before we got started. Do we have ideal draft slots this year? I personally am liking the second half of the first round because I really like who I can get in the second round. And usually I love kind of getting a 1-2 punch on the way back in the second round. John, where do you think your ideal draft spots are?
So far, I really like the back end. So picks 9 to 12 are where I like. I think I've drafted in the back end 4 times out of the 7th. This is the first time I think I've been in the top 3 all season. So it'll be very interesting. I think I've had the 4th or the 5th. So it's interesting to see where my draft goes tonight, how my team comes together drafting out of the number 2 hole. But I do like 9 through 12.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And Corey asks, who are your top 2, John? If Eddie goes one way here at the 101, who's your second option? Stuff
Sure.
like that.
My top 2, I have right now my Q, Jackson Smith and Jigbo, and Bijan Robinson. And I understand the new Lou Nichols love. I'm not ready to go there right now over those 2 players. I get it. It's just I feel more comfortable with those 2. I did move Lou Nichols up, but I'm not going to take him in the top 2 right now. And it's very close with Trevion Henderson, but I like Robinson better.
No, I definitely get. I've mentioned it on the show before. To me, there's like a top tier of 7 running backs, and you can order them in almost any way you want. It's why I didn't give Froton a lot of crap for having Jahmyr Gibbs as low as 7, because I'm like, if any of those top guys, like, to me, it's almost any order. It's Bijan, Lou, Jahmyr, Deuce, Rasheen, Trevion, Braylon Allen. Any order with those guys, I think I'm not going to argue too much with you.
I tend to agree with you. I mean, I have not seen anyone put Braylon Allen first. I would say he's like, even though I agree with you, he's in the top 7, he's clearly the number 7, I think, maybe number 6, depending. But I've not seen him all the others I've seen at the very top.
I think I actually have him at 6, and I think I have Trevion at 7. I think I'm the lowest out of Trevion compared to a lot of people, because I really think this Ohio State team's going to be throwing the ball more than we're kind of giving him credit for. Now, again, Trevion's still going to be a beast. He's an incredible receiver out of the backfield. That's why, I'm not, knocking him too much. Again, it's top 7. You get any of those guys, you're happy with them pretty much the rest of the season. But I think that's kind of why I'm a little bit lower. Because, we have Stroud, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Trevion Henderson all consistently going in the top 2 rounds. Hell, the first 3 are consistently going in the first half of the first round. Somebody's going to luck out, or not going to luck out there. The ball can only go to so many people, and so somebody's not going to return value. And I think that in my opinion, it's probably going to be Trevion, because again, people I think underrate Mayan Williams and Evan Prater just a little bit. But again, Trevion's still going to be his own beast. He's a home run play waiting to happen.
Oh, without question. I mean, the one thing I could say about Trevion, his efficiency in some of the blowouts could be incredible. He could have 10 carries for 100 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns just because they're blowing people out, and he gets a 75-yard touchdown early or something. I mean, obviously in those games, it won't be volume that he succeeds on. It would just be efficiency and explosiveness. But you could also have some bad luck. They blow people out. He could have 10 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown.
Yes.
So it is tough because they're so good. So many points are going. Who's going to get the points each week? That's why I like CJ Stroud. But that's a different story for a different day.
Yes. Ryan Ralph asked in the chat again, talking about those top 7 RBs that we're talking about here. Any of them get a bump in half point or full point PPR? I think they all get a bump, pretty much with the exception of Braylon Allen, because Wisconsin, they like to keep it on the ground with their running backs for the most part. But again, kind of running through within my head, I don't think there's another RB in the top range that consistently just only keeps it on the ground. They all have a good receiving ability, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Braylon Allen in a full point PPR is clearly number 7.
Yes,
that's without a question.
I agree.
And I think you could make an argument for Deuce Vaughn top 2 in a full point PPR scoring format, because he could have 60 receptions for Kansas State this year.
Yeah, very possible. And I think Lou Nichols people kind of underrate as a receiving back, because, again, people I think forget he had 40 receptions for Central Michigan last year. They were giving him the ball in every which way. All right, the draft has started here. And John, you kept to your word. Bijan goes off the board, and so you're taking Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I am now. I mean, I look at it now. I don't have to draft a wide receiver for a really long time if I choose to build my roster that way. Braylon Allen. Someone was listening.
There was Braylon Allen, and Josh Chevalier takes Lou Nichols. Sorry, Josh, I blew your cover. I was so blown away by Braylon Allen going that early, but like I don't hate it. Like again, it's the Wisconsin running back. It's still Paul Chryst there.
Yeah, I have him. I believe my projections are 1,600 yards rushing for Braylon Allen, but only like 10 receptions. And I think I have him at 17 touchdowns, which is all reasonable. And he could go off for 1,900. I mean, that's possible, not likely. But I don't think I've seen Braylon Allen go this early. Jared, have you? Have you seen him go third overall?
I don't think I have. I'm going to make my pick here real quick because I am on the clock.
Yeah.
One thing I promised
myself. C.J. Stroud went number 5, everyone. Jared's on the clock now. He has a lot of meaty players available to him there. There's definitely, I think, more decisions than he may have thought about. 20 seconds remaining there. But Stroud's the only quarterback, first one off the board.
I promise.
And Jared is, Caleb Williams.
I promised myself going into this draft that like I was going to take a quarterback early. And I was thinking about trying to wait for the second round, but again, I'm not early enough in the second round to try to grab a guy that could follow me in the second round because I'm really afraid of guys like Cunningham, Hooker, them all being gone in the second round. And so I'm like, you know what? I like who I can get in the second round at the other positions. I think I'll just go ahead and grab a guy that could possibly score 4 touchdowns any given week if that offense is truly humming like we expect it to be.
Well, I'll say this about Caleb Williams now. If you like him, you can't risk it in the second round anymore.
Oh, no.
No, he's late first round. I think that might be the earliest, but I think the value's there. And if you like him, you're going to have to take him where you can get him in the first round.
I think Nate Marquise took him at like 103 in our Summa Cum Laude draft, if I remember correctly.
Oh, he took him that early?
Yeah, like Caleb Williams, especially in some of these best balls, is definitely kind of going off the board pretty early.
He's moving up. I mean, I think when we first did it, when did we do it, Jared? Like early March? He wasn't that early off the board.
No, I don't think he was. I think he was an early second round value. He kind of hovered around that range for a good while, but I think people started to wake up again to the fact of like, okay, this is a Lincoln Riley quarterback. This is his chosen guy. What are we doing here? Not to knock on JD Knoll here, because again, JD, appreciate you coming in and participating in the draft, but this is more a comment on the entire CFF landscape right now. I think Jordan Addison's going too high if he's going in the first round consistently now. I think that there are too many good receiving options at USC for us to kind of narrow in on one as the clear go-to guy, at least high enough to take it as the first, like one of the first wide receivers off the board. I think he was the wide receiver 2 now in this draft. I like him a lot better as a second round value. What do you think, John?
I agree with you because if I think back quickly to the Oklahoma offense, it's not like I've been in love with their wide receivers. I mean, over the years, it's CeeDee Lamb, D.D. Westbrook. While they were very good, Jared, I don't ever remember saying to myself, here's the 1,700-yard, 1,600-yard receiver with 12 to 15 touchdowns. He spreads the ball out, Lincoln Riley, and his quarterbacks run the ball. So I do think there is some limit. Do I think Jordan Addison is the best receiver on the team? Without question.
I agree. But
will Lincoln Riley spread the ball around? I do think he does that, which clearly limits his upside. And we've gotten sorry, everyone. We've gotten a bevy of wide receivers. We've had Addison at number 10, A.T. Perry at number 11 in the first round. Xavier Worthy went 2-2, and then Cedric Tillman went 2-4.
Again, this is why I really love the back end of the first round, because look at some of the double taps here. A.T. Perry, Xavier Worthy at wide receiver. Boom. Rasheen Ali, Bryce Young. Boom, boom. I would adore that start for any of my teams. And the fact that Rasheen Ali is a top 7 running back and he falls to me at the end of the first round, I would love that and pair him with one of my top quarterbacks. Absolute perfection. Okay, I have a choice here because I was kind of looking at two guys here. I like a lot of the wide receivers on the board. I really, really do. But also, part of me is itching to take a second quarterback. Now, granted, it's a 1 quarterback league, so I'm going to probably move away from that and take a wide receiver here. The two I am really deciding between are my boy Jermaine Burton at Alabama or Miles Price at Texas Tech. I think both of them are very incredible options, but I messed up last week when I didn't take Miles Price over Marvin Harrison Jr. I would have made that choice every time, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and get myself another share of Miles Price here. Top wide receiver in the Zach Kittley offense. Give it to me all day long.
Yeah, I like Miles Price here. I believe he's my number 8 wide receiver. Let me double check. He's my number 8 wide receiver. If he hits in Kittley's offense, we saw what Jarrett Stearns did last year for the Hilltoppers. I mean, the ceiling is unbelievable. So, I had Tavian Thomas in my queue.
That would have been a great pick.
Gone. And CJ, the owner doubled up with CJ Stroud and Tavian Thomas of Utah. And I like this one team went double tap at the running back. Derek, he had Jamar Gibbs and then Zach Charbonnet. So that was very interesting drafting out of the 8 hole. I'm on deck. If you can speak for a second, Jared.
Yeah, I got you.
What I want to
Josh Chevalier, god dang you, dude, because he starts off with Lou Nichols and Jermaine Burton. That's an incredible start right there as far as I'm concerned. Nathaniel Dell, back where he belongs, in my opinion. He started going into the early 3rd round. I think he belongs in the 2nd round of wide receivers. And then, John, you just took a Devin A-Chain back in the 2nd round with him. I've been seeing him kind of drop a little bit recently, but John, what are you so... You really love these Texas A&M running backs. I remember you were high on Spiller last year as well. So let me know why does he belong to be in the 2nd round?
He shared the running back duties with Isaiah Spiller last year. His numbers were unbelievable. Every time I watched the Aggies last year, it seemed like he was just in the open field, busting it down the field for a long touchdown. You know the Aggies want to at least win the division and get to the SEC championship game. They don't have a quarterback that I like at all. I question their quarterback room. That's a major problem, I think, for Texas A&M. Logical coaching dictates that Devin A-Chain should get 200 touches running the ball, and he probably should have 40 to 50 receptions. So I'm looking at between 230 and 250 touches. I'll take that any day in a team I think is very good, and I think I'm up here.
Yes,
so I got to figure out what I want to do.
There's a lot of good options still on the board. Like, I am looking at my queue, and I'm like, I didn't expect half of these guys to be available in the 3rd round.
So I will say this. The draft has gone a little bit different than I thought, which is fine. Drafting with new people, which I like, for one.
Oh, yeah.
Why can't I find my guy here? Keep talking. I got
you. Who are you looking for?
Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, he should be available still. I can force the pick for you, by the way, if you need me to.
If you got it. Why can't I find him?
I just forced the pick for you.
There you go. Oh, you know what? I didn't spell it with the T in his last name.
Okay. Yeah. I would say rookie mistake, but you've been doing this longer than I've been alive, so I can't really say that.
So, wow, check that out. 3 straight receivers to open the 3rd round. Rashee Rice, Quentin Johnson, and Josh Downs all went off the board there.
I think Rice was a little high, especially with Quentin Johnson and Josh Downs on the board still. But again, I like Rice quite a bit. I think he was normally kind of an excellent 4th round pick for you if you were kind of waiting on receivers a little bit. Marvin Harrison goes off the board there. Keyshawn Butte comes off the board. I'm up So I was thinking about going receiver here, but there goes an entire run, basically decimated my receiver queue for the most part. But there's still some incredible quarterbacks here on the board. And like I said, I was going to wait, but like you give me Hendon Hooker and Malik Cunningham both in the 3rd round. Yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and solidify my quarterback spot here for the entire year. And I'm going to go ahead and take Hendon Hooker to pair with Caleb Williams. And again, they don't have the same bye week. So basically, as far as I'm concerned, it's likely going to be one of those two in my starting quarterback position every single week. Give me that all day long.
You know, it's interesting because Hendon Hooker was in my queue. And I thought about taking him at the 211. And you know I like him, Jared, a ton, 3-2. But with the one quarterback format, I decided that I was going to wait at that position. I love what you did. I get it. But now in a 2 quarterback format, I think that's also why you and I are used to the 2 quarterback best ball leagues, which I think is also now forcing quarterbacks down the board a little bit because we have 1 flex position and 2 running backs as starters. So I do think we're seeing running backs and receivers go off the board a little faster than we are used to because of the 1 quarterback format. And here's a team, KL Dog 721. I think that's an L. He went the triple running back. I love it. Old school. That's Mr. Laub build right there. Trevion Henderson, Will Shipley, and Braden Bennett out of Coastal Carolina. I just did a lot of studying of him this week. If he gets 65% of the opportunity or snaps in Coastal Carolina, he could be insane. I love the way the young man runs the football. I like that build right there. In a 1 quarterback league, you can do that. I don't think I would ever do that build in a 2 quarterback, kind of what we're used to playing in the super flex best ball or the 2 quarterback best ball.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you. But again, like he went system after system after system. Ohio State, Clemson, they're going to be one of the better teams in their conference. So they're going to be running the ball constantly. Coastal Carolina, they don't care. They're going to run the ball no matter whether they're behind or ahead. So I was hoping Jordan Mims would continue to fly under the radar there a little bit. I was hoping I could get him as a sneaky 4th round pick. And then let's see, Malik Cunningham comes off the board again. I think he's a great 3rd round. Like in a best ball format, I think that is an incredible pick in the 3rd round because very few quarterbacks are capable of just hitting a possible 50-pointer, let alone a 60-pointer, and I think Malik Cunningham can do that. My problem with Malik Cunningham is I don't think he can do it consistently week after week after week because I think he's going to regress on rushing touchdowns this year. Let's see, who else came off the board here? Jacob Cowing. I think I understand the thought process with Cowing. I think there's just a little too much question as to how that is going to be divided between him, Tatoria McMillan, and some of the other receiving options they have there at Arizona. I like this. I like where that offense is going. But I think it was a little too early here. I think Tom could have waited on him. But again, when you're at the turn, you kind of do have to reach up for guys a little bit because, again, you have to wait so long before the next ones. Wow, this is some interesting picks.
I'll say this. Yeah, I said, Jared, I would not have taken Cowing there, but I'll say this. Being on the turn and Dynasty Pros team, you said Tom, I'm going to assume they are very high on Cowing. Yes. So if you're high on Cowing, and you're looking at another 22 picks, you probably aren't going to get him there. I understand it strategically. And then to come back with Kamar Wheaton there, SMU 4-1 is a great move. So he's got Rasheen Ali and Kamar Wheaton, 2 group of 5 running backs. And everyone, if you're new to college fantasy football, you've got to learn the group of 5 landscape.
Yep.
Those are 2 studs in the group of 5. That's a nice backfield there.
100%. And shameless plug here. Go listen to Chris Moxley and I's latest CTN episode where we discuss a lot of underrated offenses for... Interesting. I don't think I know that name.
Oh my God, Jared, I was doing the same thing. I'm like, did I do something wrong? For those who are as shocked as Jared and I, his name is Travis West, wide receiver, Texas Longhorns. I could be wrong. Maybe someone hit the wrong button. I don't think I've seen Travis West taken yet. I mean, Jared doesn't look like he's seen him either, but I don't think I've seen him taken anywhere yet. So maybe someone knows something we don't, or it's a mistake on the board. I'm not sure what's going on there, my friend.
JD, if you are listening, just send it in the chat or any of the chats, and if you made a mistake and just need to switch somebody in that hasn't been taken, just let me know. I can switch it on the commissioner side of things. Okay, so I have a guy. I'm gonna go wide receiver here. I didn't plan on doing this, but I'm gonna fade the running back position because I really like the wide receivers on the board right now. And let's see. I have a guy ahead of the guy I'm about to take, but again, it's a best ball format, so I think I'm just gonna take the guy with the higher upside, better offense in my opinion. Just go ahead and give me Dante Cephas, wide receiver out of Kent State.
Hey, another Mac superstar. If you make it through the early, 4 games there? I think the 4 games are tough. Mm-hmm. They might have one game that should be able to put points on the board. But once you get out of that 4-game stretch to open the year, and hopefully Cephas will still be, volume just because they're probably playing from behind. So you could still get a lot of some fantasy points.
Yeah.
But after that, he is going to explode after that time. Zach Evans. Ooh, Zakira Franklin, one of my favorite players, just went off the board.
That's a good one.
4-8. I love Zakari Franklin. I'm a big fan. I'm up following Heath. Okay. And then Zach Evans, who I had in my queue. I like Zach Evans too here in the 4th round, number 9 pick overall.
Cropper, great pick there. That's the other receiver I was considering in my pick. I went with Cephas because again I think he just has a higher upside, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cropper overall has the better season at the end of the season, if that makes sense.
So I'm going to go. So I wasn't as sold on this player, but I've been doing the homework, looking at Michigan's offensive line. I know Donovan Edwards is there. But as I'm looking at the number of touches and the per-game output that Blake Corum did last year, and he is actually 200 pounds. It was funny. I was saying this to my partner,
I could have sworn
Matt
he was
Hicks.
lower than that.
He and part of it is the Michigan offensive line is huge. And next to Hassan Haskins, he looks small because he's 5'8". Maybe
Fair.
He's 5'7", right? But if he's 195 to 200, and that's my guess, he's got a nice BMI and he's bigger and stronger than you think he is. And I still think he's going to get the majority of touches. That's a nice one. Titus Swen, is that what you were?
That's what I was hoping would come back to me.
He was in my queue, so I did like him a lot. So I'm all right with Corum here. In the 4th round. It's a best ball, so I don't have to guess when he goes off. And he'll at least have 2 games with over 30 points because he can't catch the ball in that Michigan offense. So I've come around on him.
Yeah,
I'm coming up on my next pick.
Eddie got me on that one. I was really hoping that Swen would come back to me. Again, not working out for me well when it comes to some of these players kind of coming back to me. I'm missing my chance on some of these guys.
Hey, we've all been there, right, my brother?
Oh, absolutely. All right, Jaden Reed. That's a pretty good pick right there. And John, you are up. Where are you going with this one?
I'm going to go for championship or nothing. Mohamed Ibrahim.
Upside's there.
If he's healthy, and reports are pretty solid, it's hard to get him, but you get little tidbits. He should be on the field at training camp, and they didn't sign anyone, Jared. Minnesota did not bring in – it's not like they even brought in a graduate transfer. Every sign tells me that the coaching staff thinks Ibrahim is going to be on the field.
Yep.
Look, if he hits and he's healthy – 168 yards and 2 touchdowns against Ohio State?
Yep.
He was rolling. I'll take the chance here if he's healthy. I'm going for the home run.
I agree. Speaking of home runs, Tyler Shuck comes off the board there. Some people might say that's too early because you don't know if he's going to start the whole year. I don't care, y'all. It's a Zach Kittley quarterback. Take the upside. You don't have to be a fantastic quarterback to really do well in that offense. Marvin Mims, I was looking heavily at Marvin Mims here. All right.
You're up, right, my friend? Let me review your team for the viewers or listeners.
Yep.
Jared opened up with Caleb Williams in the first round, pick 6, followed by Miles Price, wide receiver, Texas Tech. He double tapped at the quarterback. The value was too great with Hendon Hooker. Then he went back with Dante Cephas, wide receiver, Kent State. And Jared, tell the listeners who you grabbed in the 6th round there.
I have grabbed in the 5th round here Jairo Brock, running back out of Iowa State, one of my favorite offensive systems in the country. They have produced running back after running back the past couple of years. I'm going to take the guy who's probably going to start week 1 and just kind of hope that he kind of holds on to the job for the most part throughout the year. I need to talk to Mr. Patra Pekane there that Ultima Caskill is injured, so we need to get that switched out as well.
Wow. One of my favorite sleeper wide receiver, and I believe Jared likes him a little bit too. Puka Naku, right? Is it Naku?
Puka Nasua.
He just went in the 5th round. I've never seen him that early, Jared, and I like him. I got him in a lot of leagues because I've been able to get him in round like 9, 7, somewhere's in there. So that's interesting. I do think he's moving up. Jaron Hall's getting a lot of publicity and discussion. And who's he going to throw the ball to, my friend?
Yep.
Ooh, you want to describe Corey's strategy here, my friend?
Wow, Corey going double dipping at the tight end position. Jordan Travis coming off the board. I knew one of these Seminoles was going to pick him early. But Corey going Michael Meyer in the 4th and Bowers in the 5th. Just hoarding the top 2 tight end candidates of the year. That's a very interesting strategy. I don't think I've seen that one yet, but I think Corey is definitely trying to experiment here, and we'll see if it works out.
Very interesting because he's got one running back, Deuce Vaughn. So I'm going to assume that Corey has some running backs in that, like Eric Froton and I were talking about it on the ITL podcast, like that range 30 to 50. I would assume he's building his roster because he must like running backs in that group of players. It is fascinating to grab those 2 tight ends because a tight end does qualify at flex. So if they do go off in the same week, you're not wasting the production because you can throw that tight end in the flex position. The only thing that would drive me nuts is if you have them both go off with like 20 points, but you have their running backs or receiver. You waste one of those. I don't think it will happen, but if it did, it would drive me crazy.
All right, we see Zach Kuntz, the 3rd tight end, come off the board there. And Corey Crooms going in the 6th round. Tom was apparently listening to my podcast today because I was hyping up Corey Crooms in that Western Michigan offense. So that's a good pick right there. Stephon Cobbs, Ryan O'Keefe going off the board here. Interesting. So we're back to Corey Cavanagh. Does Corey take a 3rd tight end here? Let's just go wild with it.
Okay, now we're just getting silly. He could, but man, that would be hardcore. Now, do Bowers and Meyer have the same week off? Do you know offhand? Let's see. That would be my only oh man, that would be probably not, but let's see. Where can I find their week off? Darn it. I need to find that. Let me look around here. Because I do think that obviously. Oh, who did Corey take?
He took Travis Dye.
Ooh, he does like that. There's one of those running backs we're talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
If you like that running back in that round,
go ahead and take him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take that advice here when it gets to my pick as well. You'll see, I'm gonna take a guy that probably I could have waited on, but again, I'm just kind of shooting for the moon. Actually, no. Maybe. Corey,
so here we go.
Corey just looked. By the way, I
got it. They are off different weeks, 8 and 5.
Perfect. That works out.
So Corey's listening. Hello, Corey.
So Shane Whitehead wants us to know that John, you need better connection.
Yeah, it's my somehow with the Zoom, it keeps freezing. I don't know what it is, so it's my fault, technical on my end. We had wow, have you seen Trey Benson go this early?
Not at all. Again, we got 3 Seminoles here in this draft, so it doesn't surprise me too much. I got a hold to my mindset here, y'all. The top 3 tight ends have come off the board. I've said over and over again that when that happens, my next pick will be whatever is left over. And Michael Trigg is just sitting there gift wrapped for me. I was going to go running back, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and take my boy Michael Trigg here.
He was in my queue. He was my next pick. I knew you liked him. I thought maybe Bob, I didn't expect the double tap, so that was nice by Corey. And then I was hoping, but it made sense that you went with your guy. Ooh, Tajay Spears moving up the rankings here.
Dude, he is all over the place. There are some drafts where he flies under the radar. You can get him undrafted. There's some drafts where people are on him and here in the 6th round. Like, it is kind of nuts. I will say this. I don't think I would have taken him here in the 6th round. Do I like Tajay Spears? Yes, I do. Am I taking him this early? I'm not, but I do like him as a sleeper. I love him as my 4th or 5th running back off the board. Now, this is his 3rd running back. He took Alton McCaskill. Yeah, I've been trying to get in touch with him. Let him know that that he's that he is out for the year and he hasn't responded yet. So whenever I enter this into the ADP later today, I'm just gonna not enter anything for that pick.
I understand that. All right. I am up now.
Oh, Brian Cobbs again, y'all. We're going too early with him. Like, I like Brian Cobbs. I think he is the wide receiver 1 at Utah State, but I don't know that. Don't draft him as if we have that guarantee. Granted, it is your 4th wide receiver, Heath, so I can't knock you too much. But still, too early. John, go ahead and talk about your pick. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to take my guy. I don't want to wait anymore. And Jared, I bet you, Jared, if I bet him $2, he know exactly who it is. I'm going to take Nate Singleton here. This is a best ball draft. Yep. I'm not worried about a 1 quarterback league because I think there's value at the quarterback position. I love my 4 running backs, and you can start 2 every week, and you can throw 1 into the flex position. So I feel real solid. Even if Singleton comes out of the gate slowly, which is possible, he's a freshman, I'll wait for the goodness by the month of October. I'll take Singleton there.
Yeah, and he's your 4th running back off the board for your team. I think that's fine for you to take as an upside pick. Eddie with a nice pick of Isaiah Bowser there. I was thinking about taking Bowser when I took Gyro Brock, but I waited too long on running back. I didn't want to take a guy that has some injury risk to him, so I figured I would just go with a guy in a better system, in my opinion. Kenny, listen, you ask, will we have time to go over teams after the draft? That's going to depend heavily on how quickly this draft finishes. Typically, if we kind of probably 10 o'clock is when I will call, 10 o'clock my time, Eastern time, is probably when I'm going to call this stream and everything. So if we have time, that's great. If we don't, I will do my best to try to talk to y'all and let you guys know what I think about your teams. Hassan Beydoun, interesting pick this early. I think he is a PPR monster. Problem is he only scored 2 touchdowns last year. Interesting pick this early, but again, like you said, John, if that is your guy and you're on the turn, go ahead and grab him. I think you could have waited, but even still. John, who are you picking, buddy?
I'm going with my guy. I can get him a lot late in drafts, and I'm very comfortable with him. I'm going Zay Flowers of BC. As long as Phil Jurkovich stays healthy, and last year he did not, but he did in 2020. I'm a big fan of Jurkovich. He's pretty high on my Devy rankings. I think he's a legitimate NFL prospect, but he needs to stay healthy and have a good year. And I don't have to predict in a best ball when Zay Flowers is going off. To me, he has more value because he could go 4 for 120 one week with a touchdown. The next week he'd go 3 for 30. I don't have to predict that, so I'm willing to go with Zay Flowers here as my 3rd wide receiver.
I am a little surprised with you, John.
Why?
Because if I didn't have two quarterbacks already, I would be taking a second quarterback right now. Because there is an insane value at quarterback right now.
I will be willing to say there are 4 quarterbacks that I'm salivating over right now.
There are
Jared.
I am kicking myself now for taking quarterbacks early in this one. They flew off the board last week in the same format, and then now this week I'm sitting here with 2 quarterbacks in the first 3 rounds, and y'all don't want to take quarterbacks. Ah!
Look it. So I've been following the board. I got 2 quarterbacks in my queue, and I'm looking at my rankings. There's other quarterbacks that I love that I haven't put in my queue. So I'm watching the position, and the value's still out there. And I'm not the only owner right now. We have team 1. Whedon's my boy. He has no quarterback. I think is it Josh? He's team 4. He doesn't have a quarterback. Team 8, Derek or Drek does not have a quarterback. And team number 11, Morace maybe, they do. So there is clearly value at the quarterback position. That's why I felt pretty good. But yeah, Jared, so I understand you felt that the quarterbacks would come off the board. So let me get 2 of the top 4 or 5, however you have them ranked. And unfortunately, the way the draft is gone, that quarterback value is sitting out there at the position.
It is definitely not one of my best drafts so far in terms of just reading the board and getting the value there. Again, Caleb Williams and Hendon Hooker, I'm happy with as my quarterbacks.
Oh, of course.
My problem is I think I would have rather have tried to go for like another running back or somebody like that early on in the 3rd round, thinking I was getting some value, but nope. I got suckered on this one. I took Christopher Brooks, by the way, running back out of BYU. Ooh. I really do like Derek, if you're listening, please make sure you let me know who you're going to switch out for Bailey Zapp. Even still, Christopher Brooks recently, if you read Phil Steele's guide, was listed as the RB1 for BYU, and there was no or next to his name. As far as Phil Steele is concerned, he is the RB1 for BYU, and if that is the case, this is where I'm going to be taking Christopher Brooks every single time. We saw Tyler Algier absolutely light it up last year. I think Christopher Brooks can easily do close to what he did last year.
I feel like, Jared, he's moving up boards recently. Am I correct on that one? I see him going sooner and sooner.
He went up, went down, and now he's coming back up because of the Phil Steele thing.
Oh, Phil Steele listed him at the top in the book. I haven't gotten that yet.
Yes, he listed him as the top RB fine. In BYU.
Gotcha. Because I've seen him going up the boards.
Yes.
So Isaiah Nair went of Texas, wide receiver, the transfer from Wyoming. And Jaquavius Marks, who I like, but in a half-point PPR, he definitely takes a position hit in value.
Yes. Yeah, if it was full-point PPR, I would understand the justification of taking him this high. I think that this is a little too high for Marks. There goes one of the better quarterbacks off the board right there. Tom got a great value there with Cameron Ward. There's still 3 guys here. And I shouldn't, but I'm heavily considering taking one of them because it just feels like I feel the need to hoard at the position. I'm feeling
it's called price, Jared. It's called price enforcing. People are letting value fall down the board. You want to price enforce. The problem is when you price enforce, you paradoxically hurt your own team a little bit. Because you definitely need help at other positions, but it's I understand the strategy right now of price enforcing. I can't let this player drop any further.
And this is one of those deals where you're sitting here kind of looking at it, and the court, like I feel like I might be price enforcing the right position because quarterback in a best ball, it's going to be the one that scores the highest points out of any of these positions. At least with this point system and everything. So Like, if I have 3 guys that's going to basically guarantee me that one of them's going to get me 30 points every single week, hell yeah. Why not? I can take shots on running back and wide receiver later. Tanner Mordecai, pretty good pick here. Again, there's still... I'm aghast at some of the guys that are still on the board.
Jared's like, oh my God, I'm pulling my hair. It's funny because I was just going through my quarterback rankings and I saw Tanner Mordecai and I was typing him in for my queue. And I'm like, why is he not coming up? And then I look on the board above, he had been picked. So I like that pick right there. Now, Jared, am I missing something? Is there a lot of Florida State Seminoles getting picked tonight?
There are 3 Florida State fans here in this chat. In this draft tonight. And so, again, I'm not against homer picks. I would wait till later in the draft for some homer picks. Because, again, Micah Pittman is a talented wide receiver, speedy guy. If he really fits into this offense and Jordan Travis is as wonderful as these guys are kind of hyping him up to be, I don't see how, or I could see a path to him being CFF relevant this year. Problem is, there are so many guys with just so much better, better past the CFF relevance here that I don't think you need to be taking your guys that early.
2 quarterbacks in my queue just went off.
Will
Rogers, love him. Corey double tap now. He has Malik Cunningham and Will Rogers. And Drek he has Bailey Zappi, but now he also has Brennan Armstrong. Very nice pick there in round 8.
Yep. All right, KL Dog on the board here and everything. There's still, if either quarterback is here coming down, Frank Harris. I'm surprised at the order of quarterbacks. I do like Frank Harris a lot.
I do too, but there's other value on the board.
There's 2 here, John. I think I'm going to be nice to you. Because there's one that I know you love. And I own too much of him already. And there's another one that I have missed out on. And I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to take a chance at running back or wide receiver. I'm going to go ahead and get my 3rd quarterback here. I'm nuts, but I'm going to do it just to get the guarantee. Price enforcing here. Give me Dylan Gabriel, quarterback out of Oklahoma. Give me the head of the Levy offense.
Hey, you price enforce. You're taking a top 10. Well, I have him at number 10. I would assume he's right around that, 8 to 12 on most boards. I have him at number 10. That's a great price and force. I mean, I love Frank Harris too, but I have Frank Harris at number 17, I think, number 19.
Yeah.
The upside of Dylan Gabriel in the Oklahoma offense is just too much to pass up because I think you could have gotten Frank Harris coming around in round 9. He probably would have been on the board because I still see value at the quarterback position ahead of Frank Harris. And I don't want to mislead. I love Frank Harris. I just think that there was other players there you could get. And getting Dylan Gabriel, hey, you should get 30 points. I knew it.
Oh, John, I was trying to be nice to you, but Josh said otherwise.
What? What did Josh say?
Oh, no.
You mean metaphorically?
Yeah, no, Josh said no. He took Quinn Ewers from you. I know you were looking at that.
Yeah, I was good. I really wanted either Armstrong or Rogers only because, I don't have Bijan in this league. What am I thinking? I would have taken Ewers anyways. I would have taken him after Rogers. It was Rogers, Armstrong, and Ewers, but they're all 3 gone. So I'm going to go with a little bit of, I believe he's healthy. I know it's risky, but I'm going Grayson McCall here right now. They have not brought in a quarterback from anywhere. I can't even imagine that depth chart without Grayson McCall on it.
Yep.
I mean, it's really ugly at Coastal Carolina. Tells me the Chanticleers are pretty happy again with him at the quarterback position. I might be embracing too much risk here with Mohamed Ibrahim and Grayson McCall, but I will take the upside that both of them hit. And in the best ball, I want first or nothing. So I'll take McCall here.
Yeah, good call, I think. And again, you're going to see more quarterbacks come off the board here. I think everybody kind of waited late on this one. I'm going nuts on this one. Again, this is not how I was planning on doing this draft coming into it, but it's just the value's there. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Got a couple of guys here I'm looking at. Should they come around to me, I think I'm going to go ahead and take them. But definitely a wild night so far with this draft, I would have to say.
Well, I love it because the one quarterback has definitely changed as the selections came off the board, which is exciting and fun and puts a little bit of a monkey wrench in the draft. We've been doing two quarterbacks for so long. You kind of, the value of the quarterbacks are pushed up. So I like that quarterback. So look at the meat of the position was in this 8th round. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 quarterbacks popped off the board. And I think that's nuts. More quarterbacks in the first 7 rounds combined.
Yeah, I think so. I'm kind of looking at it here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, and there goes another quarterback.
Jake Hader now.
7, 8, 9.
I'm not going to double. I like the fact he did Hader and O'Connell. I get it. Why you might be happy double tapping here. But I'm going to go for my tight end that I like. And I like Trigatung. I wanted him. But I like Jaheim Bell, South Carolina. I'm going to take him here. I think the upside is huge. I don't have a tight end yet. I like my receivers and running backs. And I still think there's value at the quarterback position.
See, I have somebody who I'm really keeping an eye on here. I think could help me kind of make my team bounce back here a little bit. But I'm really scared that Josh is looking at him too. Or Heath. He's a pretty smart guy too. So I think either one of them could end up taking him off the board here.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out. But okay, Heath took Cameron Peoples. I think that's a pretty good pick with Appalachian State. They love to run the ball. I think it's gonna be a little bit split between him and Nate Noel, but even still, pretty good pick. Josh, don't rip my heart out here, please. Please have mercy. Dude, Josh has been killing it this draft. Look at this team. I don't love Zach Evans as a pick in the 4th round. Again, I think he's just he's made his desires pretty clear. Ooh. Okay, he takes Sean Rice Plumlee. So he doesn't break my heart, but it's a good pick here. Great upside. Will Mallory off the board. I think that might be the highest I've seen him go, but I think he belongs in this next tier of tight ends. I think people have been sleeping on him. All right. I'm going to take my 3rd wide receiver. I just realized I don't even have my starting wide receivers here. But I'm going to take Jaden Bray, wide receiver out of Oklahoma State. Just give me the top Oklahoma State wide receiver, outside guy. It's not going to be Brendan Presley this year. It's likely going to be Jaden Bray throughout most of the season. So give me the top guy there, especially in the 9th round. I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Well, I'm always honest. I had Jaden Bray, and I had long time ago when I took Zay Flowers. I was debating between those two. Now, we had a quarterback run, which probably allowed some of that wide receiver value to drop. There's so many 8, 9, 10. We had 10 in let me see, that was 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 10 quarterbacks and 15 picks, which allowed Bray and the value drop. And one of my favorites just got plucked here, Raheem Jarrett, 9th round. I think that's good value. You don't have to predict when he's going off. So 9th round is a fair spot to take the risk on Raheem Jarrett. I like him here too.
I have made my opinions on Mr. Jarrett very clear. I think
I know.
I am off Jarrett this year. I would rather take the shot on Dante Demas or Jacob Copeland. Sam Laporta, again, this is a nice group of tight ends here that if you feel like you missed out on the top 4 guys, you can feel pretty good about some of these guys here. Rock and Roll 627 says, I think Jarrett was supposed to be a sub in for Zappy. Where was that said? Did I miss something? Let me go back to...
Ooh, Marquez Cooper.
What
was the question? I was looking through my queue when you were talking.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, Derek. I'm so sorry, bud. Yeah, Derek was supposed to get Raheem Jarrett for Bailey Zappi. Sorry, Derek. I missed this message. Who do
Maybe he can find another wide receiver now.
Yeah, I just asked him, who do you want now? So that's my bad, Derek. I missed the chat in the actual draft room. I was looking at the chat on the YouTube. Dejon Stribling, pretty good pick off the board here.
I just put him in my queue.
Javon Ducker off the board. Again, I got some good guys coming up here. I think Trey Palmer, one of my boys. I think he's
I've heard you talk about Trey Palmer, right?
Yeah, I like him in the Mark Whipple offense. He's in the slot, same position that Jordan Addison had last year. They got an upgraded quarterback with Casey Thompson. I think he's a very good pick here in the later rounds.
Gotcha. Let's see.
All right, let me throw a couple more guys into my queue here. Let me keep an eye on the chat. All righty.
I gotta see if there's any value at the running back position. Has anyone? Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I had him in my queue. Let's see. No. It looks like the value of the runner.
I missed Marquez Cooper coming off the board there. That's some pretty good stuff.
That is some good stuff. I'm going through my top 50 now, trying to assess where the value at the running back position is.
Okay, hold on. I'm about to do some moving around. So Kenny has mentioned that he is okay with switching out Jarrett for Tinsley and letting Derek have Raheem Jarrett as his wide receiver. So I'm going to make that switch real quick. Boom. We're all good to go there. Appreciate it, Kenny. Devin Leary, a good value here in the 10th.
So, Jared, what do you think of Jordan Travis? I think people like him or don't. Like, I'm not into Jordan, but what do you think of him?
I think he got taken. Of Florida State. I think in this draft he got taken because, again, JD Null is a null. But even so, I've seen, again, he's another one kind of like Tajay Spears where he kind of goes off all over the map. You're right. People either love him or they just really are off of him. I find myself, I say closer to the off because I feel like we've seen him, but like at the same time, like I could see a path to him having a better year this year than he has in the past. Another year under Mike Norvell's system. But if I'm going to take a shot at him, I'm going to take a shot at him late, and typically he's already off the board before I'm even thinking about taking him.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I only noticed him all of a sudden because that JD Null took Devin Leary, and I was trying to see who he paired up with his two quarterbacks. I was like, I didn't even remember seeing Jordan Travis go. But yeah, so he went in the 5th round, but if he's a Knowles fan, that somewhat answers why he went that early in this draft.
Yeah, and like again, I tell people all the time, like there's nothing terribly wrong with the homer pick. You want guys on your team that. Derek took Bailey Zappi again.
Derek really loves Bailey Zappi.
He really wants Bailey Zappi on his team, but like take guys on your team that you're going to be excited about when they hit. Like, don't take a guy necessarily just because it's consensus. Now, I think that's more applicable to later rounds. Because, again, the first couple of rounds, like, yeah, I'd say try to stick somewhat to consensus. But, again, if you're really high on a guy and you just want to make sure that nobody else gets him, go ahead and take him off the board. All right, I'm up. I just realized. So, couple of good options. I'll talk through my pick real quick. I'll talk through my pick here real quick. So, again, a couple of good options at running back I had in my list here and everything. I'm going to take a guy I think has fallen a little too far. Again, a bit of a risk because we're not quite sure what the breakdown in carries is going to be. But I think with my next pick, I can get a safer guy. But I'll go ahead and take the upside of Byron Cardwell there at Oregon.
Ooh, the Oregon running back. The sophomore, right?
Yes.
Nice pick. Ooh, Edwards.
Hey, somebody's still on the Edwards train with me. Everybody's going for the new hotness in Traylon Smith. Absolutely not. I'm still on the Ty Edwards train. Everybody's like, oh, he's an SEC running back. I'm like, yeah, he's an SEC running back that's 190 pounds. Ty Edwards has got like a good 45 pounds on him. When Josh makes the most Josh pick in the world with Ontario Brown.
All right. I like home run hitters in best ball. especially home run hitters. I do not have to predict when they're going to do well. So I'm going to end up rooting for the Nittany Lions. It's probably a mistake, but I do like Parker Washington here in the 10th round. I don't have to predict the 4 or 5 games that he's going to go off. So I'll take Parker Washington. And this is a good hint, I believe, if you're new. I'm at pick number 2, which means I need to look at what the team ahead of me is going to do on the double tap, the turnaround. He just drafted 2 quarterbacks. So I was willing to bypass a quarterback here because he might price enforce or might just take a third. But I decided I'm going to wait till round 11 to take my quarterback because I think he's less likely to take 3 quarterbacks in these rounds. So always be aware of the teams around you when you're drafting.
I agree 100%. You're right. It is a little easier when you are closer to the turn in order to really kind of gauge that. Now, when you're in the middle like me, God knows. And you can do it a little bit better in the early rounds. But unless you're like John, where it's like, oh, John's not going to take a 4th running back in the first 6 rounds. Oh, there goes Nicholas Singleton.
and Jared, when you were talking about the value at quarterback, being in the middle, not only did the quarterbacks fall, but it was harder for you to assess where the value's coming from, I think.
Yep.
Right? It was more of a challenge. So maybe if you were pick 11 or 11, 12, 1, and 2, you might have seen the value a little bit easier. It's hard in the middle of the round. Now I'm going to take my quarterback here, who I like. And I like these dual threat quarterbacks. I'm going to go Clayton Tune of Houston right here. I like him a lot. I have him in, I believe he's in my, let's see what number. I think he's in my top 20. I'm willing to take him here on 23. So I'll take Clayton Tune. I'm happy with the value here.
Heath Boyd locking down the Texas Tech quarterback room, taking Baron Morton here in the 11th round. Again, I definitely think that's more of a best ball play rather than necessarily a redraft play, because you probably in a redraft would take him just later because you don't want to stash a guy typically when you have a roster this small. But I think it's worth it. He also took Jared Dougie. Heath is just locking down the Kitley offenses out there right now. He's locking down the Western Kentucky, locking down Texas Tech. I don't blame him. Josh Chevalier just took Harrison Whaley, double tapped the NIU running back room. Don't blame him there whatsoever either. Also, quick reminder to everybody, once again, I made this mistake last week, so don't make it again this week. Check your bye weeks. Make sure that your entire room is not all off in the same bye week. I need to be careful with my quarterbacks going forward because 2 of my guys are off on week 8.
Ooh, I just looked to see if my 2 I was lucky. I didn't look because I'm broadcasting with you, and I don't always look at bye weeks. But my 2 quarterbacks are bye weeks 8 and 7. So I'm like, all right, I got lucky on that one. Because sometimes when you're broadcasting and you're trying to pick, you miss things. And I'm like, oh, I didn't look at my bye weeks for my quarterback.
Oh, yeah. All right. I got to be careful on, okay, so week 8, week 7, and week 11 I need to avoid. So let's see here. None of the running backs I'm looking at here typically feel like home run hitters. So I think I'm going to go ahead and hit up one of my early season favorite guys to hit up around this range. But again, he's right here. Let's go ahead and give me JoJo Earl, wide receiver out of Alabama. Lock down the slot position at Alabama. It's an Alabama wide receiver. All of them could possibly go off any given game. So, just lock him up.
Interest. I like Earl too. Here, Dante Wright, Ollie Jennings. I like that value at wide receiver. He gets peppered with targets, right? He had 62 for over 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
I like him there for Old Dominion. And then we didn't talk about Daniel Richardson, the quarterback of Central Michigan. He had some really nice numbers last year, 24 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. He's not a big quarterback with his legs. He's not going to get you at minus yardage, Sacks are minus. But if he could get 32 touchdowns, he's in the MAC conference, so the points are abundant out there. So I think he could be very interesting. And who did he pair him? Let's see. Oh, he opened up with C.J. Stroud. So interesting. He didn't have to take a quarterback till very late. That was good. That was good strategy there. Just wait, because you have C.J. Stroud, such a stud at the top of your rankings there.
John over here nudging me, being like, "Yeah, you should have waited with a stud quarterback."
I didn't. Nothing inferred there. Nothing inferred.
All right, that's our second running back from Florida State coming off the board. These guys are just like competing with each other and like taking shots on the Florida State offense, being like, you know what? Like, one of us is going to have a Florida State guy that goes off. Brock Thompson is an interesting pick, especially right there after Tyrone Tracy. What do you think about that, John?
I'm sorry, I was reading something. I apologize. I was trying to. What was the question again, my friend?
So Brock Thompson comes off the board 2 picks after Tyrone Tracy. What do you think about that?
Okay. Oh, one of them is going to be a star. I believe I have Tracy higher than Thompson, but let me double check. Sometimes I forget in these teams that are I have Tracy at 33. And I have Thompson at 47. So I do have Tracy higher.
JD, sir, Hassan Haskins is off to the NFL. I don't know if you knew that, sir. So if you could let me know in the chat, either the YouTube chat or the... by the way, Derek says in the chat here, go Noles, 6-win season. Love it.
Hey, we had our second freshman. I think he's the second. I took Nicholas Singleton in round 6, and Luther Burden, the wide receiver of Mizzou, just went off on the beginning of the 12th round, picked 12-1. Very interesting freshman. I do like Burden a lot. He might be the most impressive playmaker in the Tigers passing game. What do you think, Jared?
I think Burden, if you're looking for a guy that starts day 1, Burden's your guy. If you want a guy with a higher upside once he takes over the starting job, I say Nicholas Singleton is your guy. I'm going to point out here real quick, Corey read me like a book because I was actually planning on taking Tyler Harrell on the back end of this round to pair him with JoJo Earl and just try to get the wide receiver 2 at Bama locked down. Because one of those 2 guys is going to be it.
And did you get it?
No, Corey took him off the board.
Oh, Corey took him off. Oh, okay.
So now I got to sit here and think about who I'm going to take here now. There's some good options here on the board. Again, there's a quarterback here. I'm itching. If he's there in the 13th, I'm taking him. That is as simple as that. If he is there in the 13th, I will take him because the upside is just way too much. But let's look at my running back room here. I got Brock, I got Brooks, I got Cardwell. All got question marks here. I'm gonna go with a system and just a insert running back name here kind of system where whoever it is probably gonna do pretty well. Last year they did Ty Chandler finishes the RB25, even though he's not that great of a running back. And I think British Brooks will do just fine this year in the UNC offense as the lead back for the Tar Heels. So just go ahead and give me that.
I like Brooks. There's, I think it was your partner. Isn't he your partner on the freshman? Is it the freshman podcast, C2C?
Yeah,
Wasn't he the
Petaway.
one?
Yeah, he's got the Michael Carter
Yes.
role.
He was talking about Brooks, right?
Yes.
My boy fell to me. Woohoo!
All right, let's go.
Raheem Sanders, Arkansas.
I'm a little afraid they're going to split up the backfield there, but you tell me, John, why you like him so much.
Well, in a best ball, so I think he'll have some big games. And I do agree with you that there are games where he might not get enough touches and I'll be, he won't make my lineup. Excuse me. But in a best ball, when you can only start two running backs each week in one flex, I'm willing to take a guy who I believe has explosive games in him. And so I like the variance in my running backs in the best ball because I don't have to predict the goodness, when they're going to go off.
Yes.
And I do like that Arkansas running game, but I do agree with you. There will be weeks where he massively disappoints me, but I don't have to predict it in a best ball league.
No, fair enough. Also, Ben Urosek coming off the board here. He's my tight end 5. I think that's a great value here in the 13th round. I'm kind of surprised he fell this late.
That is a great pick. I'm surprised he's here. And I just mentioned this young man last year had games. This is a 4-game shot he had. 36.7, 62.9, 16.8, and 27.4 points.
Who do you got?
Xavier Rudolph.
Yep.
I'll take what?
I said, yep.
I'll take Rudolph here. We're in round 13. I love these big, so I got 3 giant home run hitters in my book. Zay Flowers, Parker Washington, and Travion Rudolph. And I don't have to predict when they're going to go off. I'm just, when they have those 20, 30-point games, they make my lineup.
No, absolutely fair. Let's see. Jabari Small comes off the board. That's a pretty good pick from Heath there. Let's see what Josh does with his draft here.
Ooh, Josh is up.
Josh is up. Again, there's a quarterback here I'm looking at, and I am blown away in a best ball that he is still. Darn you, Josh!
Is that the one?
That was him. I was really hoping I would be able to pair him up with Dante Cephas because I realized I had that stack as well. Darn you, Josh. Darn you.
And that would have been a nice stack because you didn't have to predict it.
Yeah, speaking of stacks, I'm going to go ahead and get I think I'll go ahead and get another wide receiver out of the USC system. Let's go ahead and get Mario Williams here. Wide receiver out of USC.
I just put him in my queue.
I again, we'll go ahead and get the stack there. Those two are going to have some big weeks this year. Those two have a connection. I know Addison's, again, probably the best value on the board, but Mario Williams in the 13th versus Jordan Addison in the 1st. I'll take Mario in the 13th every time.
And Jared, you have Caleb Williams.
Yep.
The stack potential, there is legitimate 2-week upside where they each get 40 points. I mean, that's legitimately possible where both of them are in your lineup with 40 points. Now, it doesn't matter because Williams might have some down weeks, and we've seen it at Oklahoma, but it's best ball, my friend.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about it. When he goes off, you and Williams, you have that stack. That's amazing, dude.
I agree 100%. Also, let me double check my roster again here, make sure I'm not drafting guys all on the same bye week. I'm actually doing pretty all right. Again, I got 2 wide receivers on week 9, so I got to be careful there. But yeah, other than that, I'm doing pretty well. So I guess I'll make sure that some of these guys don't enter my queue.
You get the dual threat upside, and he was so good with Wendell Robinson last year. But I'm just not as high on him as others. But man, he could burn me so bad this year, Jared, because I just don't have Will Levis anywhere.
I think he's a better value in best ball because I think it was Mitch last week who mentioned the fact that like he had like 4 games over 40 points and stuff like that. I don't see how he does that again this year, but I think he's a better value here in best ball than in redraft. Garrett Schrader's another great pick here in the 13th round. I'm kind of blown away that so many people have kind of bought into the idea that like he won't be able to produce in this offense. Like I understand it's a more pass heavy offense, but at the same time, like Garrett Schrader has an incredible rushing upside that we saw like with Brennan Armstrong where they utilized him his first year. So I don't see why Garrett Schrader can't do well. And again, this is probably the best passing coaching staff he's been taught with. So I'm hoping that he'll at least improve somewhat there.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I'm trying to – the tight end I like has the same bye week as my other tight end.
That's the worst. Absolute worst.
I'm going through my tight end list trying to find someone right now. I'm like, the 2 I like. I should know that. I just haven't. I got to start putting together a list of like players I like, but who have conflicts in bye weeks. I got to start doing that somehow because I need to avoid. Darn it! I would have taken because what happened was I had Marshawn Ford in my queue. I was going to take him next. But Ford went off the board, so I'm looking for another tight end, and I have a conflict, so I have to kind of dig through. Pat Garwo there is a nice pick for Boston College in round 14 also.
I agree. Dude's gonna get 200 touches this year.
I agree with that. For the most part, yes. Let's see. Where's
Grant DuBose? Again, we've been hyping him up a little bit. If you listen to the CTN episode this morning and everything, we think there's a pretty good path for DuBose to do pretty well for Charlotte this year. Chris Reynolds, a lot of people are sleeping on him as a fantasy relevant quarterback. Dude finished as the QB 31 last year. So I don't see why he can't produce and pass enough for DuBose to be relevant.
My guy.
Yep. Yep, there goes Sean's boy. I knew that one was coming.
He was going to be my third quarterback.
Alrighty, I'm on the board here, so let me take a look at my two options here. Roster-wise. Just got to make sure I'm not taking guys that are all on the same bye week.
Yes, that definitely matters now, right?
Yeah, definitely is mattering more as we get later into this draft. I say, again, I got 30 seconds here. Again, part of me wants to take another running back, but I just really don't love the upside of a lot of these running backs late. Actually, hold on.
Yeah.
I could wait around. It's gonna come back to bite me, but it's gonna bite me so hard. Don't know which way I'm gonna go.
7, 6.
Taking a wide receiver. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens with running back.
We'll see what happens at running back. What does my team look like at running back?
We are going to find out.
There was my guy. I wouldn't have gotten him anyways. Bartholomew.
Great pick.
I like him a lot at tight end, but he had the same week off, but he wasn't going to fall to me anyway. So nice. That's Josh, right?
That is Josh.
Yeah, I took him in our dynasty draft this week. I took 3 times. It was a 26-man rosters. So I liked him at value. 14th round is very nice, but he has the same week off as Jaheim Bell, so I wasn't going to take the 2 of them. All right. So I'm not in love with my quarterbacks, but they're okay, I guess. But
okay.
I do believe in the strength of the running back position. So I'm going to take a guy who I don't have to predict again, but I love the system, and I know there's competition. But Devin Neal of Kansas.
Yep.
I'm a big believer in the system. We've seen it with Jarrett Patterson. We've seen it with Kevin Marks. I don't have to predict the day he's going to score 2 or 3 touchdowns. So I think he's my 6th running back now. So I'm very happy with Devin Neal as my 6th running back in a best ball draft because I'm all in on the Kansas running game.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what Eddie's going. Clay Millen, that's a great pick this late, I think.
It is. I had him in my queue. Really nice pick.
Let me see. Oh, snap.
What was snap? What are you thinking?
There's a again, some of these quarterbacks I'm a little surprised at. Let me double check my roster. I can't grab him because he's got the same bye week.
I'm happy right now. I got 3 quarterbacks in my queue who I'm okay with.
There were 3 quarterbacks in my queue just now. All 3 of them have left my queue because they all have a week 8 bye.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All right. I think I know what I'm going to do with my next 2 picks if these people stay on the board. 3 if I get lucky. Like, really lucky. Like, I'm talking about insanely lucky. Tyree's an interesting one with Jadarian Price out now and Logan Diggs still injured. John, who are you picking here?
I'm going to go for the connection like you did, but I'm going to go Coastal Carolina.
I'm
going to take Sam Pickney here.
Good one.
Who played at Georgia State. Very disappointing last year, but he should be at least one of the top 2 wide receivers for the Chanticleers this year. So I'll take Pickney here and hope that we get a couple big games with Grayson McCall in him.
I think that's a great pick there. Alrighty. Josh Chevalier goes off the board with Eric Gilbert. Again, great upside there. He's going to be, he'll get tight end eligibility in this league. I don't care what Fantrax says. All right, I'm on the board. I'm going to take a guy here that I have kind of poo-pooed on this year, but mostly because I thought he's taken way too high, but it's the 15th round. There's a path to him getting a much larger carry than he did last year when he disappointed a little bit. I'm going to take Chris Smith, running back out of Louisiana Lafayette. I'm kind of surprised he's still here on the board. Again, I poo-pooed him early on in the season because he's being taken in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. But here at the 15th, hell yeah, why not?
Well, I'll say I totally screwed up then. Because when I was looking at my running back list, I have Chris Smith way higher than Devin Neal, and it did not even. I must have crossed him off mentally, like someone must have took him.
Yeah,
because you're absolutely right. That might be the steal of the draft right now. I just mentally had my top 30 guys who are all off the board, and that's where Chris Smith falls. So that's an incredible pick right here, Jared.
Again, I don't have him that high, but I'm kind of sitting here looking at the guys I have ahead of me, and I'm just like, you know what? Like, why not? I could kick myself in the buttocks right now because I would have taken Smith over Neal, especially such an explosive. Ooh, Brad Roberts, that's a nice. Yeah, Brad Roberts, I think would have taken earlier if I didn't have already a ton of shares of him. He's one of my guys that, again, if I don't like how my running back group's going, great case in case of emergency kind of running back. But again, I was drafting him anywhere, so I figured I'd let him fall a little bit here just so we can get a better ADP value of him. All right, Derek is up. Again, I really got 2 guys left in my queue here, and I think it's legitimately possible that I can get both of them if it plays out well.
So we're going around 20, so I have
going around 20.
5 picks. Let me see what my roster – I know I only have 1 tight end, so I have to pay attention to that.
Yeah, I'm starting to add some tight ends to my queue as well.
I have 2 quarterbacks and 1 tight end, so I have to shore up those positions. I think I'm done at the running back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe I'll see if value falls. So I think I'd rather have 7 receivers than 7 running backs.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So I got to take at least one more wide receiver, and I want. Because I take wide receivers who are hit or miss, I like to have a lot of those big play wide receivers. I mean, it might happen where you have one week where all 4 or 5 of them do nothing, but you're always hoping 1 or 2 hit.
Oh, yeah.
So because I play that type of best ball, I think I have to take more wide receivers and running backs. And just, I think there's a little bit in best ball. You got to hope your running backs stay healthy.
No, I agree.
If you lose 3 running backs, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
It wasn't I had a team last year with Spencer Rattler and Mohammed Ibrahim. They both went. It was done. There's just nothing you can do. That happens.
Tom.
So I think I need to go wide receiver more there. Just looking at my roster construction.
Tom, you took my boy. I knew it was going to happen, but Christmas was too big of a value. No, he took Mike Washington. I like Mike Washington at Buffalo quite a bit.
Ooh.
So yeah, I figured that wasn't gonna happen, but one of my guys could make it back to me. I'm gonna point out real quick. Again, we got 3 Knowles in this draft and everything, but Cole McDonald's not a terrible tight end pick. Dude's got plenty of talent. So again, if you're going for upside there, why not?
I agree with you completely. Let's see. I'm looking at ooh. There's a wide receiver here who's interesting, especially in a best ball format. I'm just looking at I'm looking at my list now. There's a player who's still available. I have him ranked pretty high. So that's what I'm doing right now, looking through players I have who are ranked high.
Oh,
Tyler Harrell went of Alabama, right?
Yeah, Tyler Harrell's gone.
All right, just making sure.
No, fair enough.
McMillan. After I've done now, I'm trying to think. I've done a bunch of these drafts now live. I definitely respect people who do live drafts much more than I ever did 3 years ago. It's much harder than people think it is.
Oh, yeah. Especially once you get used to slow drafts and having a little bit more time to think about your pick. All of a sudden,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
that when you hear that 10 seconds coming down, you're like, ooh, Demas, I like in the 16th round.
Now that's a great pick in the 16th round. Now here, I was looking for McMillan, who
He's
I'm
gone.
interested in, Jalen McMillan, but he went in the 13th round. I didn't notice that. Oh, because I was talking about Luther Burden, who I like, and I didn't notice that McMillan was still on the board. So
Gotcha.
that's it. So he was taken. So that's a nice pick there, because I was just going through my rankings, and I have McMillan as one of those players higher that is still available now. I'm going to
I'm sad that I missed out on Colin Schley earlier, but this is a quarterback that I think is falling down too many boards, and like there's some guys on the board here I would take ahead of him, but again, I already have 3 guys or 2 guys on week 8, so I can't take some of the guys ahead of him. But like the upside of Adrian Martinez at Kansas State, I think too many people are passing over right now. 16th round, heck yeah. Again, this is a team that has shown an ability to use a dual threat quarterback. Look at Will Howard. Look at Skylar Thompson. I think Adrian Martinez might be the best quarterback they've had to play around with over there. I think he's got a really good upside there at Kansas State. Give me him in the 16th round.
Jared, he was in my queue. I have 4 quarterbacks. Now I have 3. And Adrian Martinez was in the queue. I definitely was interested in him with the rushing upside. Ooh, Tyler Buckner, Notre Dame. 2 Notre Dame players back to back. Ooh, I'm up.
Anthony Richardson finally comes off the board. How did he make it to 16th round? I don't know, because I wasn't taking him because I already had a guy on week 8 bye, or 2 guys on week 8 bye. I'm surprised so many people let him pass up. I know we got 3 Knowles in the chat, so they're never going to take a Florida player, but like still, y'all.
So I had Martinez and Richardson in the queue. I'm going to take another. This is my first time I drafted him, and I loved him last year. I had him off the waiver wire. He was so great late in the season, and here he is sitting around. There's not rushing upside, but as my 3rd quarterback, I'm taking Tyler Van Dyke, Miami here.
Okay.
I'm not in love with him. I haven't drafted him, but we're in the 16th round. He has a different bye. So I have 3 quarterbacks. Their bye weeks are week 5, week 7, and week 8. So I'm comfortable taking Van Dyke as my 3rd quarterback. Not the player I'd be looking at, but he fell to me and I need a 3rd quarterback. So I'm okay with that.
All right, who are you picking now here?
Let's see. So it's between, I'm going to go for upside later. I'm going to go to our favorite conference, the MAC, baby.
Back.
Jay Sean Jackson, Ball State.
Great pick.
I don't think I have any MAC players yet. And when MAC action is late in the season, I'll take my MAC action guy and hope for a few big games on those Thursday nights.
Absolutely. And Heath, great pick there at tight end. Just going system right there. We know that UCLA loves to utilize their tight ends. Go ahead and grab the next guy up right there.
That is a good pick. I had him. I liked him very much. Now, let me think if that was my – oh, wait, no. Travion Rudolph. NIU is in the MAC, right?
Yes.
So I have 2. Good. I got 2 MAC action wide receivers. That's good. It's good karma when you have 2 receivers from the MAC.
Yeah, I thought I went MAC heavy on this one, but I think it was a lot of me wanting a MAC player and then them coming off the board. But I do have Dante Cephas. Alrighty, let's see.
Let's see. Ooh, Army. Now, someone think Tyrell Robinson, Army Black Knights. He did have 3 games over 19. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in double digits. He is an interesting best ball because he has a lot of single digit games with less than 5 points, but he has 2 games over 21 points. He's 6 games over 10. He's an Army running back, so you got to be willing. It's a hit or miss with the triple option, but that's an interesting pick here.
All right, I'm going to do one of my favorite things to do, and that is whenever I see Elijah Cooks come off the board, I will immediately follow it up with Justin Lockhart.
And, the two San Jose State wide receivers.
Yes.
And isn't Shavon Cordero's throwing to him, right?
I don't think it's a shame at all. Sounds like he's doing real well over there.
No. That's the quarterback, right? Cordero. Yeah, okay. No. Isn't his first name Shavon? Or is it Shevin?
I thought you said, isn't it a shame that he is that Cordero is throwing to them? Okay, that makes more sense.
Yankee accent, bad pronunciation. The combination is dangerous.
Yes,
came out the wrong way.
Yeah, Shavon Cordero's there at San Jose State. I'm kind of that's one I could have easily put on my sneaky offenses list this past morning. Same with Tulane. I do like Tulane quite a bit.
That is a good one. Let me
Derek.
see. Oh, Jonathan Mingo went, right? I saw him somewhere.
Yeah,
correct?
he went in the 12th round.
And I think he's the only Mississippi player, right?
No. Well,
wide
no.
receiver.
Yeah, wide receiver. Robinson went off the board as well. I'm trying to find him real quick. Where did he go? He came off the board. Robinson. Jalen Robinson came off in the 5th round.
Okay.
He came off early.
That's real early, I think, right?
Yep. Derek getting that epic stack of Bailey Zappi and Jarrett Stearns. Good job, buddy.
Good job, buddy. We're not the Flash who can go into the, what is it when he goes into the time portal? What do they call the speed? What do they call that in the Flash? Oh my God.
The speed something.
Right? The speed something, right? We can't do that.
I should know this because I the Speed Force.
Speed Force. Can't go into the Speed Force, brother.
Nope. Cannot. By the way, if y'all are watching again, some of y'all have been watching a good while, really appreciate it. Again, just go ahead and hit that like button. It's real easy. And again, we're towards the later end of the draft, so you just have questions and everything. We'll have some time probably here to answer some questions, maybe go over some things that surprised us about this draft. There's a lot to talk about in this draft in terms of what surprised us. Hey, speaking of surprises, Velus Jones also in the NFL.
He thinks Velus Jones is getting his doctorate right now. Went back for a 7th season in college.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Oh, my goodness. All right, Maurice is still on the board. Maurice is on the board now. Traylon Smith, there's the other UTSA running back, and that's all he'll be known as throughout the season is that other UTSA running back, as Ty Edwards is about to take the world by storm. Tyreek James, good one. Kendall Milton, both good picks in my opinion.
Yeah, I like Milton because I know you mentioned it, and Eric was talking. You were with Eric, and he mentioned it too. It hasn't been since DeAndre Swift that we've really had a fantasy viable, but Milton, we don't have to guess in best ball. If he has 3 or 4 very nice games, that value's there. But I don't think they're going to have anytime soon 1,400-yard rusher at Georgia, right, Jared?
No, not at all. Again, Milton, I think, is going to get 200-plus touches. That's basically what I've been told. So long as he stays healthy, of course. So long as he stays healthy.
Yes.
KJ Jefferson, great best ball pick here in the 18th round. Just absolutely nuts to me that he's still there.
Okay. So here's a question, Jared. Have you went 4 quarterbacks, right?
Yes.
So I'm debating now. I have 3. And the debate is, do I take the risk that all 3 stay healthy and I'm good enough? That's something I got to think about here down the stretch.
If you want my opinion, there are a lot of
good of course I do.
Upside picks here. And you got a lot of, I think, kind of safer guys with McCall, Toon, and Van Dyke. But I don't think there's a ton of upside there. I would take a shot on just a guy that you think could hit a home run any given week. There's some pretty good options here, I think. You can wait until the 20th round. I'm sure there's going to be a guy there that falls way too late, but even still.
I kind of think that's what I have to debate on the 20th round. Is there one guy that I like who might, pull off 2 games at 35 points or something?
Yeah, and sometimes you can let the draft decide for you. Just go ahead and kind of wait. That's what I do sometimes, where if I have like 6 or 7 guys that I'm deciding between at like a certain position, I'm like, oh, these are all in the same tier for me. I just go ahead and just kind of let it go and pick out a different position that I think the tier drops coming closer, and then I just kind of let other people take those guys off the board, and I'll take whoever's left.
I agree with you on that one.
All right, I'm on the board, I just realized. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and take a running back here. I could take him last week, but he is one of my favorite guys, and I like the system quite a bit. Give me Deshaun Fenwick, running back out of Oregon State.
Ooh. Hey, the best system. I mean, the Beavers, they pump out college fantasy football running backs. And Fenwick is at the top of the depth chart right now, I would think, right? I mean, from what I've seen.
Yeah, he's the top of the depth chart. I do like Damian Martinez quite a bit, the freshman coming in there and everything. Yes. But again, when it comes to these best balls and everything, I'll just take a shot on a guy that I think is going to start the year, and we'll see how it goes from there. He could be a guy that I'm looking at my roster at the end of the season. I'm hating the fact that I have him on my roster. We'll see. All right, John, where are you going with this one?
I'm just going to go for I like this player. I might be taking a risk here, but Emeka Egbuka of Ohio State in round 18. The offense is just too good. They're going to blow some people out. He might get some garbage time touchdowns. I don't have to predict when he goes off. I know Harrison and JSN are at the top of the board. JSN, but I have 2 Ohio State wide receivers. I feel pretty good that he'll get in my lineup maybe 2 or 3 times. We are late in the draft here, so I like these big home. I'm going to go heavy wide receiver. I decided I think I have 8 now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8. So I'm okay with 8 wide receivers because I'm looking for the home runs all the time.
I have 7 wide receivers. I'm probably going to take another one here for an 8th guy. Also, Corey, to answer your question, he's asking, can guys gain/lose position eligibility as the season goes along? For this league, I'm going to say that whatever they are at the start of the year, whatever we decide on then is going to be what they are throughout the rest of the year. Unless Fantrax changes it themselves. I don't think I'm going to manually change anybody once the season starts. Jesse Matthews, a very good pick here, very late. I think he's going to be a target hog in that San Diego State offense. And Josh, you talked about Emeka Egbuka. I really think I can get your opinion on this, but Julian Fleming, I think, is one of the biggest post-hype sleepers we have in CFF right now. As far as I can tell, he has the Z job at Ohio State. He'll be one of the starting 3 wide receivers at Ohio State this year. Now, again, you could say he might lose that job as the year goes along, but even then, Emeka Egbuka, dude is a slot receiver from everything I've heard. He's not going to overtake JSN anytime soon. So what do you think about the value you can get for Julian Fleming?
Fleming's, he's one of the, I've heard, there's some people who totally dislike him. I will say this. Every Ohio State receiver has value.
Indeed.
To me, they could all just explode at any minute. Injuries occur all the time. I don't think Fleming was very good last year, right? Wasn't he pretty, right? He
wasn't very good.
He didn't show anything. So maybe in 20 rounds, I think in our 26 round best balls, there's no question he's valuable there. Because that's an extra, 72, 80 players off the board, something like that. Right? In this 20-rounder, maybe he's not. My cat just wiped out my mouse. I'll be right back. What are you doing, Waffles?
Wait, your cat's name is Waffles? I did not know that. I love that.
Yes, my daughter named them Waffles.
Aw, too cute. Also, by the way, I took Melquan Stovall, wide receiver out of Colorado State. Depth charts have been kind of indicating that he will be the slot guy for the Jay Norvell offense. I'll take a piece of that if I can't get Torrey Horton.
So I'm very lucky because Waffles loves to visit me at my computer and be pet. The only problem is Waffles tends to walk across the keyboard. She knocks down the mouse and the light sometimes, but yeah. Oh, that was the guy I wanted. Nice pick. Jackson Dart, man. All or nothing, 20th round. I was crossing my fingers. That is the type of player, if he hits with Mississippi in the Lane Kiffin offense here, you're absolutely golden.
I agree.
Was going to be, excuse me, he was going to be my pick at pick 20. So nice pick. Who is that? That was Drek?
That was Derek, yes.
So I like that pick. I'm jealous. He was my guy. I was just sitting on him, staring at him.
All right, let's see what else. Corey's on the clock here. I have to take a tight end here because I only have one tight end, and I just decided to wait until the last round. There's a couple of good options here. So even if all of you listening here try to snipe me on tight ends here to finish off this draft, I will have backup after backup after backup. So don't even try.
You got 13 guys in the queue?
I have like 13 different tight ends in the queue. Somebody's making it back to me.
Oh, Bo Nix. I haven't seen Bo Nix get drafted in very many. That's interesting. I'm not against it in the 19th round.
Moray's trying to take out tight ends. Bo Nix, I think he has more value than people are kind of giving him credit for and everything. Again, still a dual threat guy, and it sounds like he's doing pretty well in spring, so we'll see. We will definitely
And let's not discount, Jared, he plays in the Pac-12.
It's true. Not the SEC.
I mean, those defensive backs and linebackers, they're going to be a little bit slower in the Pac-12 than they are in the closing speed is not the same. So he's an interesting player.
Caden Prather, that's a good pick out of West Virginia right there. Just going for the upside in that offense. I like it. Tanner Arkin starting to overtake Gary Williams as the preferred draftee out of Colorado State. There's Fleming. Tom's clearly listening. Moraes took my guy out of Hawaii, Tamatoa Makiao Atimalala. Had a very, very good spring.
That was awesome, dude.
I have practiced that name in the mirror.
That was good.
I think Chris brought him up first, and I'll give Chris Moxley credit for bringing him up first. But I think Andrew listened to our show and told us in one of our Discords that he's like, "There's no way that you guys can pronounce that name correctly just on the fly." And I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? It's Tamatoa Makiao Atimalala.
That's awesome, dude. So I got two quarterbacks I like left. I mean, there's others, but there's two in my queue. Let's see if any of them look. Because I have to decide I'm going to take that fourth because I got 8 receivers. And I'm either going to win or lose with my 6 running backs. I feel like there's not another running back here who's going to, if I have bad luck and lose 3, that's, it's over anyways. So I'll go with the 3 running backs and hope that they all stay healthy. But I do think I need an upside quarterback. And, of course, if the quarterback gets hurt, then I would even be in, bigger trouble. So I think I'm going to go the quarterback here.
Okay, Corey, I need you to pick a better placeholder, my dude. So real quick, Corey said that Fat Watts is going to be his placeholder for Percy Agie Obise out of James Madison. I see the pun you're going for, Corey, and shame on you for that pun. Get it, Fats, obese. I get it. I'm going to switch him out for another placeholder because I will forget. Who this is. So I'm going to put
I think
Terry.
he should be penalized just for the bad pun. I think Fat Watts should stay on his team.
Nah, again, I switched out for Tyrion Davis-Price. Tyrion Davis-Price is a better placeholder for me. Because also Fat Watts is still at Tulane. So we can't take him off. Oh, it's my turn. Let's go
Who's your tight end, brother?
So I wanted Joshua Simon. He came off the board. Darn you, Derek. Good pick. So we're just going to go with my next tight end who's just there at top of the board. I'll take George Takis, former 4-star tight end, going from Notre Dame to Boston College. Notre Dame's a hard tight end room to crack. Boston College has used tight ends pretty well. Former teammate of Phil Jerkovich. So I'll take that all day long.
I'm down to 3 more picks. I haven't talked about my second tight end, who I like the value of. I've been taking Isaac Rex. I've been doing research. And he seems to be healthy. They say he's going to start a training camp. A lot of people like Jalen Hall. If Jalen Hall hits, I love that they're going to have a 2-man with Nuka and with Isaac Rex. I think Isaac Rex can be, because I'm looking for big games. I like Isaac Rex. There's a risk. If he doesn't come back, then I could be in trouble, but he's not, 19th round. I'll take that tight end there. Now, I'm going to take a quarterback. I haven't taken in any league, but I was just looking him up. His last 2 games last year, 40 points against Wyoming, 36 points against Colorado State. He had a 30-point game against Portland State, 27 against Oregon State. I'm going to take the aforementioned Shaven Cordero of San Jose.
That's a nice pick. I actually wasn't who I thought you were going to go with. I thought you were going to talk about a different different Mountain West quarterback there. But Shaven Cordero, rushing upside's great. I love that pick.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? Sometimes some of the fun is now I haven't had him. Now if I get a Pac-12 game late at night and San Jose's on, I'm more inclined to watch it also. But I like it. Here's my 4th quarterback, a player I haven't picked him anywhere yet.
Absolutely. Let's see who Mr. Irrelevant is. Eddie is going to make this pick for us. Javon Ivory, wide receiver out of Memphis. I do like the value there as well. So, really appreciate all of you guys who are listening, who are participating in the draft. Again, this one was a wild one. Some definitely some surprising picks here and there. Florida State guys, you did not disappoint in terms of your homerism, but that is fine. That's part of the fun of CFF. I look forward to if one of you guys win this league on the back of your home team. Hell yeah, that's what college football is all about. Gotta love it. So again, if you guys want to participate in future drafts, just let me know. And next time I post a message out on Twitter for next week's draft, next week's will be on Sunday, not Monday, because we'll be back to a regular schedule. And I also don't want to compete with 4th of July. And so we'll be taking a look, or we'll be setting that up as well. So we have about 13 minutes left before we have to kind of get out of here, John. I will say real quick, let's go ahead and talk about some of the guys that didn't get drafted that we were surprised by. And we'll start with quarterbacks here. I have really 4 quarterbacks here that I'm a little surprised by. First of all is Logan Bonner. That was the Mountain West quarterback I thought you were referring to at first. Blake Anderson, offense. Drake May, quarterback out of UNC. Evan Prater, quarterback out of Cincinnati, and Phil Jerkovich, quarterback out of Boston College. What do you think about those guys, and what quarterbacks were you surprised didn't come off the board?
Well, I'll be honest, in the queue, it was Bonner, Cordero, and Jerkovich. And if I was going by my grading or my rankings, I would not have taken Cordero. But as I've said, when you're doing, I'll probably end up doing 15, maybe even 20. Who knows how many CFF drafts I do once in a while. I like to take different players to see if they hit. I'll have to take Will Levis eventually. I will take him somewheres because if he does hit and I'm wrong. So I like Bonner and Jerkovich also. Spencer Sanders didn't go. So I was a little bit surprised with the dual threat. I think he's entering his 5th season, Oklahoma State. He has not reached expectations. I get it. But I do think in best ball, there's value there. And Cameron Rising. But I have taken him in the last 2 drafts. I was just like, you know what? I've got enough shares of Cameron Rising right now. I didn't want to take him again. But those are the players I thought at the quarterback position.
All righty. Let's talk about some. I kind of agree with you on Spencer Sanders. I think it's definitely one of those things where people are just tired of trying to guess when he's going to be good. But again, best ball, you don't have to.
No, you don't have to.
Running back, I got 2 names here. Not super surprised they didn't come off the board, but I think it's interesting they didn't. E.J. Smith, running back out of Stanford. Again, you got Pete and Jones gone there. E.J. Smith's the next guy up. I figure people might want to take a shot on that system there. And then Jordan Waters, running back out of Duke. What do you think about those 2 names, and what running backs were you surprised didn't come off the board, John?
I just took E.J. Smith in the best ball draft that I've referenced earlier last week. So I do like E.J. Smith. The reports are very positive out of there. Did Jalen Knighton go?
He did. Knighton was off the board.
How about Israel Abanconda, Pittsburgh? Did he go?
He did not.
So I like him a lot. I think I took him also in that best ball draft last week. So those are the two that I would say that I'm looking at just on my board. And, did we miss Kobe Lewis of Purdue?
Kobe Lewis did not come off the board.
So he's another interesting one looking at my rankings who I think who would all have been in my queue players. If I was going for 7 running backs, they would have been that in the rankings for my 7th running back.
Yeah, Tommy Harvey just mentioned Kobe Lewis in the chat as well. And he also wants us to mention Montrell Johnson.
Oh, that's right. That's a good one too. Montrell Johnson didn't go off. You're right.
Yep. And that's more interesting now because Bowman's out of there, so maybe a little less competition for him. Also, Gary Lewis is in the chat. He is saying, 1, avoid Oklahoma State in 2022 because he thinks they're in a rebuilding year. And then 2, he said grab whoever the Oregon State's running back 1 is this year. That guy's going to eat. I grabbed Fenwick. Heath grabbed Damian Martinez. One of us is going to be right.
One of you is going to be very happy.
All right, wide receivers. Wide receivers, another one that I wasn't too surprised. I have some guys here that I like, but nobody I was super surprised didn't come off the board. The ones I would say probably I was most surprised by, Tavalance Hunt, the wide receiver out of Arkansas State. Even with James Blackman, even with Butch Jones, Hunt was able to get himself plenty of good games last year because they just had to. They had to pass the ball. Surprised he didn't come off the board. I'm surprised he didn't come off the board in a best ball. And then Rome Odunze, he's the other Washington wide receiver that I like quite a bit. So, John, what do you think about those guys, and which wide receivers were you surprised didn't come off the board?
I do like Hunt a lot. He's at number 50. Well, a lot for those remaining. He's at number 54. All my top 40 players are off the board at the wide receiver position. So did Ryan O'Keefe of UCF, did I miss him going off?
Yes, you did, because he went off.
Okay.
He went off the board in where did he go off? 6th round.
Okay.
Round.
So I'm lower than that. I would not have taken him in the 6 rounds because I have him lowered. I'm worried about that system with Gus Malzahn. He was so good last year. Chris Atman-Bell out of Minnesota. I don't think he was taken, was he?
Chris Atman-Bell? No, he was not.
So he's one that I would be very interested in. And did Kanata Mumfield, did he go?
Yes, he did. I saw him come off the board.
He did, okay.
Mump.
So I would say we did pretty good in this draft taking the wide receivers, my friend.
I would agree. The wide receivers, I'm not super surprised by. The quarterbacks, I think, was the most value, I would say. For all the crazy another name of running back, I completely missed this one when I first went through. Gavin Williams at Iowa.
Ooh, you're right. Gavin, wow, he definitely should have gone off the board. You're right about that.
Yeah, that surprises me a little bit there. But everybody else, I kind of understand why they didn't go. Even with all the crazy picks that happened in this draft, because there were some crazy ones. A healthy dose of Seminoles tonight. So that might be the name of the stream once I rename it.
That's a great one. I love it.
So, again, I think that's where we're going to end it for the night. I know some of you guys in the chat really want us to go over all the teams, but guys, there's 12 teams here, and John and I both have bedtimes because we both have work in the morning. So, y'all, I will do my best when I have some time. If you want feedback on your teams, I can look at them later and definitely give you some private feedback on where I think you could do better, what I think you did well. I'm sure you could reach out to John as in the same way. I'll try to post the results of this draft as soon as I can for you guys to look at and break down even further. But even still, really appreciate all of you guys joining us in the chat. Really appreciate those of you who hopped in here for this draft. Again, we're going to keep doing this. Hopefully we can do it every single week as long as we can get enough people for the draft every single week. We're going to keep doing it. John, you've been a wonderful and awesome guest for tonight. I'm sure everybody has adored listening to you as much as they absolutely can. Anything you want to plug out there, John, real quick before I let you go?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jared. I had a blast tonight. Both Jared and I are in the CFF Kings Classic, which is in Canton, Ohio this year. And the CFF Kings Classic League is collecting money for St. Jude's Church. If you go to my Twitter feed at Gridiron Scholar 91, the right pinned to the top is a link to donate. Everything that I do is free on fan tracks, videos, guest appearance, podcasts. We are just asking for any small donation. It goes for children with cancer at St. Jude's and a family who unfortunately has a child with cancer. St. Jude's pays for everything. The family does not have to pay for a thing. They completely survive off of donations. I'm a big believer. We put it up for a Twitter vote. We did it way back, maybe in April there somewhere, Jared?
I think
we
April.
Put up a poll. Yeah, we put up a poll of 4 different charities that we would like the Twitterverse to vote on. St. Jude was the winner. So far, we have over $1,000. We had someone who was so kind to donate $1,000 today. We're looking for $2,500, but every little bit counts for children. If you have anything, try to donate to St. Jude's Children's Hospital in the name of CFF Kings Classic, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, CFF's a great sport, and it's even better when we can really give back to the communities in all those different ways. And John, you're always one of the lead guys whenever it comes to that. You always have these great charity ideas. Absolutely, if y'all can, just donate whatever you can, even if it's only a couple of dollars. Every little bit helps. Don't worry, we're not asking you to give up your mortgage for this.
No,
but
just $5.
Yeah,
that's perfect, my friends.
Exactly. Also, again, John mentioned it there briefly. Check out his articles on Fantrax. Dude is the gold standard when it comes to putting out content for CFF, at least when it comes to the written stuff. So absolutely check him out. Again, when it comes to us on the CTN side of things here, we're going to keep giving you guys shows weekly up until the season starts. We're going to figure out how we're going to do in-season content this year. I'm hoping to be able to do 2 shows again like we did 2 shows a week like we did last year. We'll definitely kind of figure that stuff out. But until then, keep watching the shows weekly. We are seeing our numbers grow each week. It is actually fantastic to watch. And then keep participating in these drafts. I have a blast doing these live mock drafts with you guys every single year. It's great interacting with you guys in the chat. And so I think this is probably one of my better ways of actually getting to know you guys a little bit better. So with that being said, I think that pretty much ends it all here. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.